The morning after the Wimbledon Cup game, we were absolutely delighted to be invited to the Newcastle United Training ground to meet the boss and his trusted assistant. Here's what happened when Asim and Andy met Eddie and Jason.
Shoot perfection, but I think when you watch the game last night, you think, wow, you're miles off. You need some oil on them. Jack Grealish's level.
He's oiled up, isn't he?
Quick question about the players that I think you'll enjoy. If you had to choose one of them to babysit, who is it?
I think the Barcelona team he built was
Insane.
probably the best team I've seen.
Yeah.
I just loved watching them play. It took me about three seconds to go, right, I am going to wear a tracksuit. I love the way you described my 18 months out or whatever time it was. I couldn't think of anything better to do.
Kept referring to me as Mad Dog. Apparently, obviously, I did. Why though? Why?
Because Jay told him to.
You know what I mean? You're like Flavor Flav, mate. You know what I mean? Like, you're there to back Eddie Howe up. And I love that. And that's the Mad Dog. So it's like...
Can we get you a massive clock to wear on a
The Dr. Geordies.
Hey, welcome to a very special episode.
Very special.
It's brought to you by BetMGM. He's Asim Chowdhury. I'm Andy J. And we're in a new place today. Not the usual studio. No, we have come to the Newcastle United Training ground. Here we go. It's Eddie Howe Jason Tindall.
And can I just say, Andy, obviously this is a podcast called Adopted Geordies, right? Me and Andy are not Geordies, as you could tell from the accent probably, right? But we probably have two of the most loved adopted Geordies here.
Absolutely.
So can I just say thank you so much for coming onto the podcast. The Geordies have accepted us, they've embraced us. Whenever we're here, we get so much love. And of course, you guys have brought so much joy to the Geordies. So you are adopted Geordies. So we're on brand. Thank you very much for coming, lads. It's really an honor. And we're really excited. How are you feeling?
We're good, thank you. Yeah, thank you for having us.
Oh, no, thank you.
We definitely feel like adopted Geordies ourselves. So this should be good.
Yeah, and well, we were at the game last night.
We were.
Wimbledon, 1-0, got the job done. Ridiculously exciting match. I was, honestly, it was
you were
like...
beside yourself.
Mate, honestly, it was 4-3. I couldn't sleep last night. I was thinking about that that throw-in, I think.
Yeah. It was big.
No, we got the win. How did you what are your thoughts on the game? And
It wasn't a classic, was it? Let's be brutally honest. But sometimes in those early rounds of any cup competition, you just got to make your way through. So we did, and hopefully it's one we look back on in time and go, that was a valuable victory for us.
Chelsea 100%. Next at home in the cup, so that's something to look forward to as well.
Yeah, no, we knew that obviously our next opposition, which doesn't often happen in the cup, so you got a tough game ahead. But we're at home, which is rare for us.
Yeah,
with a cup draw lately. I mean, the cup draws we've had, obviously Wimbledon was supposed to be away, so
which would have been fun. Because we were going to go there as well, and that would have been fun because one of my mates, it's quite near my neck of the woods as well, and I think obviously it was great. It was St James's Park, and I think it was great. The Wimbledon fans were great, by the way. They were loud.
Yeah, they were loud,
but it would have been cool to go there, and you know what I mean. It's got that kind of cup feeling, but we got the job done, and that was the main thing. I feel like, It wasn't a classic, like you said, but and also there was some flashes. Like I kept on going on about it, but I thought Osler, some little moments, the little turn and shoot, and
we had a different perspective. You thought it was brilliant. I thought there's work to be done, but that's
flashes.
We are talking to the wrong people about this. Yeah. You guys are the experts. Yeah. That's what matters.
Yeah, but I think you're both right. I think there was flashes of his ability, but there's work to be done. But I think he knows that. But I think he's an exciting player.
Yes,
he's a unit as well.
He's a unit. Yeah.
Good times. Guys, we'd like to get to know you, if that's all right, because obviously we hear the sound bites, we watch the press conferences, we see the post-match reactions, we watch you guys on the touchline. Look dapper last night, by the way, Jake.
No, that tracksuit, mate. You're rocking that.
Properly looks.
You rocking that. Kind of
some years that did.
Now with the tan, it's mad.
You've got a bit of a Sopranos vibe about that. It's quite, it's quite gangster. I like
flutter. There's a flutter.
Yeah.
But one thing that we don't know anything about as boring laymen is what it's really
Speak for yourself.
Like at the cutting edge. No, at the cutting edge of elite level management. So can we just talk you through a timetable of your day? What does a normal day look like? What time is the alarm set? What time are you waking up? What's the first thing you do when you get out of bed? Are you comfortable to share that with us?
Yeah, sure. I mean, for me, it's an early start. I'm a morning person. I think that's when I do my best work. So I'm up at 5:30, 6:15. Try and go to the gym every day if I can.
Is that at home or?
No, that'll be here.
Right.
Depends on my energy level. Sometimes it's 10, 15 minutes. Sometimes it's half an hour, 45 minutes. And then I begin my day, and depends on the day really, whether you're analysing the previous game. So like this morning I was in early analysing last night's game, or you're preparing the next game. So whether you're watching the next opposition or preparing training to try and stimulate the players. So sort of a mix of those three things really will fill the early part.
Are you the only person in, Eddie, when that starts? When you're in the gym, is it just you here? Because that's an early start.
Yeah, there's usually the head of sports science, Dan Hodges, is usually with me. Sometimes one of the kit men, Greg McDermott, depending on his motivation to work out.
Or his social life.
Yeah, and his social life. That will be it probably.
And have you eaten and drunk before then, or are you just literally out of bed straight into the gym?
Empty stomach. Yeah.
Really? No coffee, no fuel?
No, I have that after.
All right, so you've done your morning workout. Then what's after that? What are you doing after that?
Yeah, so one of the sort of the three things that I mentioned, either preparing training, reviewing a game, or preparing the next game.
Still without food and drink?
No, I'll probably, the food will come.
Yeah.
So we have some really good chefs here. So Reese normally will prepare my breakfast, and then I'll eat and work. It is full steam. Then there's no breaks. It's preparing the day. So when the players come in, it's the best day possible for them.
Right. And what time are they showing up?
9:30. They have to be here. Some of them are usually in a lot earlier. So Kieran Trippier will probably be the first player in. He's probably about 8:30. Then they'll come in at different times. Our work with them really starts at about 10 o'clock. We usually have a meeting, like a visual presentation in the room next door, usually on one of the three subjects that I've said. And then we go training at about 11 o'clock.
So for example, this morning, if you had the players in from last night's game,
Yep.
Are you reviewing what happened last night? Are you saying, hey, why didn't we do this on the long throw or whatever? Is that how it works? How have you had your clips ready in that time?
Yeah, that's why it's usually a late night or a really early start to get everything ready for them. Yeah, I wouldn't say there's a set, right, we must do this the day after. Sometimes I like to let the emotions of a game settle down.
Right.
And do it the day after, so the second day. Because the day after a game, there's a lot of players are on high emotional alert. Either they've had a good game or a bad game, and they're either really high or low. So try and let that level out before we give them feedback.
Find your own emotions, though. If you're buzzing off of a game, or if you're furious, do you leave that at home? Does that come in with you?
Well, I think if you know me well enough, I'm very, very rarely buzzing.
We're going to fix that today.
So,
that's the plan.
I sort of don't usually get into that high emotion.
Yeah.
It's usually quite level. I can be raging, so I can go lower.
Mm-hmm.
But I try not to let that affect my dealings with the players.
I always say find the middle. You know, it's like you never want to be up there and you never want to be down there. You are going to be up there and you are going to be down there. But life for me is always about finding the middle, which I think it's an art. And I think you've got that. So training's finished, right? What time? What's after training?
It's reviewing of training,
right?
So you're constantly
how's everyone
churning the analysis. So we watch training together, me, Jace.
So you video the training?
We video it. We're sat there for some time, sort of either analysing ourselves and what we've done, as in the training session itself, or the player's performance within it, and always with a view to giving that feedback to the player. So it's an endless stream of sort of trying to help them in their careers, really.
Given that you were at the training as well, right? When you go to review it, do you know beforehand? Do you like, oh, today's session was a bit, we don't need to spend too long on this one. We know that they've worked hard today, or is there always something else you spot when you go through the videos?
Well, yeah, no, we always review sort of every session, because you might have an idea in your head in terms of how it went, how certain individuals done, but sometimes when you review it back, it's a bit like a game. Sometimes a game you think, it wasn't too good today, because maybe all the external sort of noise and everything else, and then you actually watch it back and you go, do you know what, it's actually right. It's a lot better than you thought it was. And I think that's the same to your training ground as well at times. And you might miss one or two individual sort of performances where you go, yeah, do you know what, trained really well today. So we're always looking to we always review every session back, and then there'd be certain times when sort of few clips to maybe pass that information on to certain individuals or units or the team, and try and improve players that way as well.
Sounds like you guys are constantly analysing yourselves.
So much analysing. It's so technical. So when's the day finish for you guys? What time do you go home? So you're in there. I mean, you've got up. Do you get up that early as well, Jason?
I'm not such an early bird like that.
He's more of a night now.
5:45.
More of a nocturnal lad with his tracksuit on. And
He comes alive when we all go home. So.
And you've got the videos to prove it.
So when does the day end then? When does the training end? I mean, obviously we're not talking about a match day, but when is a normal training day?
There's no necessarily set time, so we will work until the work's done.
Mm-hmm.
So then, sort of at the end of that analysis of training, it will be then preparing the next day. So whether that's another training day, or whether it's you're going into the match day, you're always then thinking, right, tomorrow. And then, as I say, when the work's done, and then we'll probably around 5 o'clock we'll end usually.
And then is that when you're going home?
Yeah.
Or that's okay. So that's I mean, that's pretty much 12 hours, right? Because you've gotten up at 5.
Yeah,
it's insane.
That's a day.
Yeah,
Is it?
Yeah, it was. I don't. Yeah, but that's the job. That's the commitment you need, I think.
That's amazing, mate. It's just interesting because we watch it, we don't know how it actually works because we see it, and because it's not a normal life, is it? Like even I'm an actor, so sometimes we're getting up at 5 a.m. and doing crazy things and doing loads of things. But it's like when you think of this technical life that everything is so analytical, and it's really so interesting. I think
it becomes an obsession, really. But you become obsessed on trying to improve the team all the time,
right?
And that obsession keeps driving you. And then when you watch yourselves play, and then it's not good, it's like,
wow,
all that effort. And it's not work today, but then when you go back to the drawing board, we all come together. We're very much, we are a team, and it's not in isolation. And I think
that would be a lonely kind of existence. So
harder.
Yeah.
So you're mixing with really good people. We've got Graham Jones with us, Simon Weatherstone, Stephen Purchase. They all help collaborate, and I think that then brings you're a team within a team. So the coaching team's trying to help the playing team.
What's the obsession about? Is it the pursuit of perfection? Is that the obsession? What is if you could describe that? It is that.
Yeah, it's the pursuit of perfection. But I think when you watch the game last night, you think, wow, you're miles off. But that's what we're, of course, that's what we're hoping. And sometimes you're a sort of a long way from your best, but then it's about obviously just trying to improve bit by bit.
Can I ask a question about character arcs? Right, and I'm just throwing this one out there. You talk about the pursuit of perfection and obsession and improving players, and like for us, we speak about this quite a lot on the pod. And we, for me, as a writer, as an actor, I love character arcs. What we all have a character arc. We start here. There's an equilibrium. Something happens, it disrupts the equilibrium. Then you have a new equilibrium. Big Joe, J7. Like when we first got him, obviously, we're all excited. 40 million. It was a big price tag. And it was so frustrating at times watching Big Joe back in the day. And mate, I have to say, his character arc is literally like something out of a movie. He's gone from...
It's the fairy tale.
But that character arc, from him to go from that to now, I think one of the most feared box-to-box.
Brilliant.
I mean, he's an absolute unit. And when he's on form, unstoppable. How, Eddie, get it? How did you do that?
Well, it's interesting with Joe because we never saw the first part of
right.
It. So we've come in, and I think when you get to work with a new squad for the first time, you're looking at individuals and you're sort of aware of their situation. You're aware of how their career's gone to this point. But we very much try and take an open mind and go, right, I'm just going to assess what we see. I'm not going to take history into account. And from day one, and I've said this many times, the first training session we did, Joe was excellent. Wow, he's a very, very good player. So sort of aware of what had happened. Instantly impressed by his character and his attitude and all the things that you mentioned. And then it was a case of, right, I really believe in this player, showing us in training that he's very technically gifted, really strong, as you say. And then we sort of stumbled upon a positional change, which I think elevated his confidence levels, because I think that was probably the thing that was.
How did that happen? Because were you in training?
Kieran Clark got sent off, didn't he? That's what happened.
Really?
Right.
Yeah.
Is that it? So okay. So it's not a thing of like training. Oh, you know what, Joe? Ever go and send him in? So he just showed it in that game.
Yeah. So Kieran ending up getting sent off. I think we went to
Norwich.
Yeah, but I think we went to the system. I think we went to a 4-3-2.
Yeah.
And through needs, he playing midfield in this game, and he was everything that he is now. He was everywhere, covered every blade of grass. He was outstanding. And from that day, he's sort of remained in that position. I say remained in that position. He's now playing more positions. he's sort of moving around.
He's become a true utility player, hasn't he?
So reliable.
Yeah.
So wherever you put him, you know he's going to give his best.
And can I just say, his legs. Like, first I was a bit grossed out by them because there's a lot of veinage going on there. And I've always got this thing, right? No, I'm going to do it.
He's going to do it.
My missus fancies Jack Grealish, right? And I was like, yeah, of course, good looking lad, fair enough. And then, he was a bit mean about Miggy, and made me go, I don't, how can you fancy him? And then she was like, have you seen his calves? And I was like, have you seen my calves? I pride myself on having really massive, obviously because it's got to carry all this girth. So it's burdened. The calves are burdened. And I just want to say, like, Big Joe's legs are massive and veiny, but I think I wanted to have a calf off with Big Joe.
Would you like to see?
Can you see my calves and just say maybe I could get into you? Could I maybe be a?
Ready? We'll give you an analysis.
Ready?
That's not a bad calf. But it's not a Big Joe's level.
It's not Big Joe's level.
Is it not?
That's not even Greenish level, is it?
It's not.
Don't tell that to my missus.
You're going to be mortified by that.
You maybe need some oil on them. Jack Grealish's level.
He's oiled up, isn't he? Anyway, that was just a little thing. That's got no relevance to anything.
No, but it's a beautiful moment, and
I'm
glad you.
I always get my calves out for every guest. It's just my only thing.
It's his thing.
Oh, actually, also when I'm in the pool, right, and like on that level, if you look at me from here, got the shoulders. But apart from that, it's terrible. But from here, so when I get in the pool, I try and get in the pool really quick and just sit like that and just kind of, you're all right. All right, girl. Anyway.
Can I just say, you're talking about character arcs. If you don't mind me saying, Eddie, if you look at your story, it has movie quality to it. As a player, obviously, signed by Harry Redknapp for big money. Then the injury came, out for the season, 9 minutes into your return, out again for a long old time. Crowdfunding to get you to a new club. Injuries kicking in again, find yourself in a managerial position, elevate. I mean, this is Hollywood stuff. Yeah. Promoted. And then in your downtime, when you left, I can't think of many other characters in football that would take a year out and go, do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to digitize my training. Right? Now, there's a superhero arc for you.
Mate.
But Thor got fat and grew a beard. You sat there and digitized your training notes, right? But it made you a better person. It made you a better manager. And then you come back here and look at what you've done. You saved us, it's a pair of you, saved us from supposed certain relegation, finished 11th. Then we're in a cup final. Then we're Champions League and we're smashing PSG. I mean, this is fairy tale stuff. Are you aware
I'd watch that movie.
When you've just crammed that into about 1 minute. It does sound a bit more dramatic than when you're living it. I love the way you described my 18 months out or whatever time it was. I couldn't think of anything better to do.
Have you not got Netflix?
It was no. I mean, I think my management career has been our management career, because we always look at ourselves as a partnership, has been something we could never have imagined ever at the start. It was just about, can we win a couple of games really at the beginning, and obviously it's become what it's become. But I think our playing careers were both, you'd probably round them up with injuries really. They were injury riddled and we could never escape it, both of us. But I think that's led us to coaching. So in some respects, our playing careers helped us in this form of management.
Because you know what it takes to be a good player, and you're battling against the fact that you couldn't achieve the things you wanted to do because your body wouldn't let you.
Yeah, I think it gave us an added motivation, because we had a lot of unfulfilled dreams and aims that we could never hit with our playing careers, and we sort of both felt that we could have been more.
Wow.
So sort of that, we then had to live that through our management careers, and we had to give everything then to try and be successful, to try and sort of pursue those dreams.
Is this stuff that you share with the players? Is this, because I know that you guys have very
stuff,
sort of
man. That's
personal conversations with them, don't you? Do you pull on that when you're kind of motivating the team?
I think the thing with the players is you can't end up talking about yourself. That's the one thing they don't want to hear. They're like, oh, he's going on about his playing career again.
But but when you were saying that,
I see who he played for.
but when you're saying that, I felt like, I felt that like a connection there, because I felt like I'm not saying I can relate to that, but I can relate to a struggle. I can relate to unfulfilled potential. I can relate to somewhat regret, and then putting something into something that you didn't have. I think there's a quality to it that I feel maybe it could resonate with players. But I know what you're saying. They're kind of like,
they don't
like
that. They honestly, they don't want to hear about you. And that's not saying that they're not nice people, but they have their own career. And your job is to make their career, or give them the opportunity to make their career better, I think.
And our boundary is important with players as well. Like, like you were saying, they don't want to hear about it. Like, do you ride on the same bus as them? Do you hang out with them socially? Do you have a WhatsApp group? What are the boundaries with a player and a manager and a coach's relationship? What is that like?
I think mine's probably slightly different to Jason's. I think I have a clear. I'd ride on their bus, so there's got no issue with that.
Right. Okay.
We don't actually, because we've got 2 buses, but I like to feel part of them in every way. But then, sort of on a social level, absolutely not.
Right. And Jason, is it similar?
There has to be a boundary, of course. But as a manager, obviously, you've got to make tough decisions along the way. So, I totally get, sort of from the manager's perspective, you can't sort of almost cross that line at any point, really. But you're always there for the players. I think the players are under so much pressure in so many different ways.
Of course.
And obviously, sort of being players ourselves, not at this kind of level where you scrutinise sort of almost with everything you do. You have to have an understanding about the person. You have to have an understanding about the player, what they're going through. Because ultimately, they always get judged on a match day, what they deliver. No one actually knows, what is actually going on in their lives, even away from football.
Yeah.
Certain issues that they might have had during the week. Sometimes, players might have been struggling with an injury and sort of maybe not trained as much, or sort of putting themselves out there in difficult circumstances. No one actually knows that. And then they get judged.
Yeah.
So you have to at times, you have to be close to them. You have to be able to
Still that boundary.
sit on the table and put their arm around them and sort of, talk to them on a different kind of level to a coach or to a manager. Because you've got to understand sort of almost
complex.
Yeah. We'll talk more about the squad shortly, if that's all right. But just before we do, a quick question about the players that I think you'll enjoy. If you had to choose one of them to babysit, who is it?
Well, it'd have to be one of the dads in the group, be one of the older lads. Probably Dan Byrne.
Oh,
Big Dan Byrne.
Oh, that's
Just reliable, committed, honest, gives you everything, regardless of what you ask him to do.
And of course, you'll come home and the boys will all be doing that.
They'll be doing that or heading the ball. They'll be doing one of the 2 things. But just a great character.
Would you agree?
Yeah, obviously, Dan Byrne's the ultimate professional character in so many different ways. Can't choose the same person, can I? But no, the Brazilian boys would be good.
Yeah.
Their dads.
It'd be fun.
They'll be on the Kinder Egg. They come back. They'll be like doing the samba. They'll be like, karaoke.
You'll be coming home and they'll have peroxide hair.
I mean, they'll be tired. Yeah, but they'll be tired, wouldn't they? So
That's what you just got to tire the kids out. That's the key, isn't it?
They're ready for bed.
They just need to be knackered. Yeah.
I love it.
Also, with your, we were going to talk about your relevance and your kids.
We've got to talk about the work-life balance because, Eddie, you and I have quite a few similarities. You might be horrified to hear it. We're actually the same age, 1977, as are you, JT. Hope you don't mind me calling you that. I've just kind of fallen into it. Just assumed that it was the way to go. But we're dad to 3 boys. We both have 3 young sons. And obviously I know what that's like. It's exhausting. It's amazing. It's inspiring. It's exhausting. I'm going to keep saying exhausting, but it's phenomenal. How do you balance it? Because you've just told us your schedule of getting up at crazy o'clock in the morning, staying off until really late. But there's going to be that little thing that I feel frequently, which is dad guilt. How do you manage it?
Maybe that's why, though.
That's why it's in so early.
I'm so late.
Yeah. But how do you do it? Because whenever I'm away for prolonged periods of time, I feel my heart's being wrenched and I feel terrible.
Yeah, no, I feel that guilt regularly. I think it's everything in life is a balance, and I think finding that balance is unique to everyone. I think having an understanding wife, partner, I think is really important. So I've got someone that I trust with my boys and know that if I'm not there, they're okay. But then I think it's about maximizing your time when you are with them. So I will try to be present. I mean, when I'm actually there, which I can't always guarantee 100%, but I will try, because I think the difficulty for me is there's always something else tomorrow. There's always another game. There's always something else to worry about or to try and fix. So you're constantly sort of, right, I've got to be a good dad now, but then there's something in the back of your head going, yeah, but you've got to make that phone call. And you're thinking, yeah.
So you do take it home with you?
Yeah, I think if I was to say I don't, I'd be lying. But I try to be the best dad that I can when I'm there. And I've got a great relationship, I think, with my 3 boys. And like you said, it's an amazing thing. It is hard work. It is challenging and tiring at times, but it's almost, I need that now. And I think where I am in my sort of career, I need that switch off. I need that different environment, because I think if I didn't have that, I'd be working literally every hour or minute that I'm awake. So having that, forcing myself to go, no, I'm going to do something else. I'm going to invest in my boys now. I think it's hugely important to me.
Yeah, it's essential, isn't it? And does it help that you have a cool job? Are they they kind of get it because Daddy's manager Newcastle United?
Any coolness with them? I don't think.
The job is, though, surely.
Yeah, I think the job is, yeah, it should be. And I think they do love it. They do love the fact that I'm a football manager, but they don't really get any of the benefits of it. So they see the stresses, they see the strains, they see me in a laptop. I don't know if there's too much sort of reward for that. So I think they quite quickly have understood that, my dad's a football manager, but it ain't all that it's cracked up to be. Do you know what I mean? In terms of, they're not living the high life. They're seeing me working. They know that I'm away a lot. They get to play football with me.
Do you manage the boys?
Yeah, I'd probably say I coach them.
Are you filming those sessions as well, Eddie?
I am. So I can do that. I can do that kind of day and come back and I'm in the garden with cones and mannequins.
Wow.
Are you really? I thought you were joking. You actually?
No,
wow.
And they're going, Dad, let's just have a game. I'll be like, come on, man, let's just have a game. Put the coach away.
What about with other dads and on parents' evenings and things? Are you quite intimidating to teachers and stuff?
I don't think so. I think I come in with a smile on my face, and
I mean, you'd be a bit scared if you were like, the sports coach and then you show up.
Me and you both today, obviously you're lovely guys, but actually me and Andy, we did actually see you once before, and we were at the Fulham game, right? And we were going to do our podcast, and we had Charlie Cooper, I did a little promo thing with him, and it was an amazing, Deck was there. It was great. We lost, obviously. And it
wasn't a brilliant game.
There was moments. Anyway, don't want to talk about that, but we were
coming to say hello, Eddie. We had fancy accents and we were kind of looking and smiling. And
we were going to the pitch.
We got a death stare.
And as we walked, you came out and you were fucking fuming at the end. And you gave us this look like you wanted to punch our grands right in the face. And it was a death stare. And both of us were like, I could just feel I just deflated. I was like, and we just walked past you. And we were like, oh God, he's scary. I think. Do you remember that? No. See, there we go. See, it was not personal.
It wasn't you.
No, it definitely wouldn't have been personal. I think what happens when we lose, is one thing, but then we don't perform well is another. So it's almost like a double whammy. So I'd probably say to him, don't come near me in that moment.
No, we caught you at the worst moment.
We sensed that, Eddie.
No, I'm not like looking at anyone.
No.
Obviously, I'm internal, so everything's going. I'm reflecting on myself, really, and that can be obviously the worst place to be as a football manager.
Scary, man. You were scary. Right now, you're lovely.
In that moment,
I was shitting myself.
It was. It smelled terrible.
That's the downside of the job, really, because then you go sort of to a dark place. But and the next day, the sun's always shining again, and you go back to work.
So it resets. Right, have we got some fun? Let's get some of the fun questions in. You know,
Some fun questions.
Let's do some fun questions.
We've had to kind of check what we're allowed to talk to you guys about. It's kind of gone through a process. Your team are amazing. They're brilliant and they've been lovely. Before I open this thing up, let's talk about likes and dislikes.
Yeah.
You know, you've mentioned you both, by the sound of things, are workaholics, but you also obviously have a bit of switch off time once the kids are asleep and so on. What are you going to? What are your chosen films?
What's your favourite movie of all time? One.
Mine's quite dark.
Go on.
It's Shutter Island.
Ooh, great shout. Yeah. The twist.
Yeah.
It's dark.
Leonardo for me.
Leo's one of the goats. What about you, JT? Oh, you can't go wrong with Shawshank.
It's an absolute classic.
You can't go wrong with Shawshank.
That's back in the day now.
Yeah, you've picked an old one.
No, but to be fair, if you go onto the IMDb top 100, it is number one. It's like it's the most highly rated.
JT's watched in the last 50 years.
More recent one, I did a Star Is Born with Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper was excellent.
That's a
actual storyline of that.
Yeah.
Hang on, I have a vision of you now driving in the car, going in the shallow. Is that? And do you get that on?
Me seeing that, let me tell you.
So definitely not Mike Bassett, England manager. That's not your favourite.
Seen it.
Classic.
It did make me laugh.
Classic.
Very good film.
Okay, favourite album of all time.
Hunting High and Low by Aha.
Wow.
Which
See that?
Yeah.
left field, I know, but their first ever album, best album.
Okay. Interesting.
JT?
Silences.
I'm not a massive music person, so I like a little album really. I like
Okay, go on song.
Maxwell. I like a bit sort of a chilled sort of.
Oh, Maxwell. You like a bit of soul, do you?
Like a little bit, yeah. So I like Maxwell's music.
His cover of that Kate Bush song, Woman's Worth. That's nice. I did think for a Maxwell guy. Interesting.
This is news.
Yeah.
But ranging from them good old sing-alongs in a sort of karaoke type bar.
What's your karaoke go-to?
I haven't got a karaoke go-to. I'll sing along.
Leon,
Have you ever seen me on a karaoke?
Oh, you love karaoke.
Hey, you're karaoke.
What's your go-to, Eddie? Karaoke.
A few actually. Don't know if I can say it. Patience by Take That.
Oh,
wow. You know, he goes high.
yeah.
And
You got a nice little falsetto, have you?
high, but it's terrible. But I enjoy it.
Yeah. Yeah, I do a little bit of Prince, and I go high, but it's. I love karaoke.
Karaoke.
I was in Japan for our movie we did out there, and we have a whole scene of karaoke. But I don't know if you've done karaoke in Japan, because obviously it's a Japanese thing.
Yeah.
They do them on like these towers, so you're in the sky, and it's a 360 bar. And every single song you can imagine. If you like karaoke, there's no better experience.
Back to Japan.
Yeah.
Well, you've been, haven't you?
Yeah.
We didn't see that, did we?
Just
karaoke bar now.
too busy with the games. Yeah. Well, these things happen, don't they? We have a thing on here where we kind of Frankenstein it, Geordie kebab.
Oh yeah.
We
George
make
Kebab.
the perfect something from component parts.
Okay.
So we'd like your assistance creating the perfect manager, right? So have a think on your database of brilliant managers. I know you've met loads, studied them, worked with them. So we're thinking who's got the most amazing aura, who looks the coolest, who's the best at setting up a defense, who's the best at set pieces.
Best team talks.
Best team talks. If we were to create the ultimate manager from bits of other managers, who would you be calling from?
I think you've got to take something from Pep.
What would you take from Pep?
His tactical brain, I think.
Okay.
The way he sees the game, I think he's definitely changed English football for the better. Like the fullbacks coming inside originally hadn't been done here. I know he'd done it at his previous clubs. I think the Barcelona team he built was
Insane.
Probably the best team I've seen.
Yeah.
I just loved watching them play. He's obviously had success at other clubs as well, but for me, that's the team that always sticks out in my head. I loved watching them.
Okay, so you're taking
I think his
tacticals, not his cardigans.
I don't mind his cardigans. He's got a suave look, but I think just in terms of look, JT, go in a second, would be Mourinho for me.
Oh, I was going to.
Yeah.
I said that. Do you remember?
He's got a thing
swag,
for
hasn't he?
Just
Swaggy.
When he first came to, you just think, and you could pull that look off.
I think you could.
He did when he was manager. You went for the Mourinho, didn't you?
Call it that, but
No, but
it's Mourinho's. He's certainly up there. I think Pep's quite cool though.
He's cool. He's good.
That G squared stuff. Well,
How'd you make the decision? Because you guys have obviously settled on team kit, tracksuits, training wear.
Good look.
On the
Tracksuit.
Yeah, we approve. We approve. Yeah, the tracksuit last night.
Rocking that suit.
Absolutely sound.
Yeah.
But do you have? I mean, did you have a kind of chat with yourself about it? Did you try on some? Did you pop to Moss Bros, try a few suits on? You know, do a bit of swagger. Try the I don't know, the waistcoat that
Don't want the waistcoat.
Southgate was rocking. So
No,
do you go that far, or do you just think what's easy?
It's a bold.
It took me about three seconds to go, right, I am going to wear a tracksuit.
Really? You want to be?
You have to understand, when I first became a manager, I was 31, I think.
That's mental to me.
I would just really finish playing. So it was, I want to be close to the players. And I don't want to, because I'd been teammates with a lot of the players when I first became a manager. I didn't want to then everyone look at me and go, who does he think?
Yeah.
He's a player 2 minutes ago. Now so I was like, I'm going to wear a tracksuit.
Got you.
I'm going to be closer to the players, I felt, in that respect. And then I just haven't changed. It worked, relatively speaking. So I felt comfortable in it. So I've just kept that.
It would cause shockwaves if you showed up in a zoot suit or something now.
Yeah, I used to do it during pre-season games. So for pre-season games, I used to wear a suit. I don't know why I started that. That was more at Burnley, I think. And then now it's just tracksuit all the way.
All right. So
you lot rock it though. You lot rock it.
So
we got Pep for tactics.
We've got Pep for tactics. Jose's looks.
Swags. Aura. But is that aura as well?
Aura, yeah, I think he's definitely got that.
Jurgen had a good bit of aura about him.
Jurgen's got aura.
You guys had fun with Jurgen.
Yeah.
He's
He'll be missed, I think, in the Premiership. I mean, what a personality, charisma. That's kind of aura, isn't it?
All right. So, we're sort of putting them in a blender at the moment. Who else is coming in? Who's brilliant at defence, setting up defence?
to say, Emery's always been renowned for a good defensive structure.
Yeah.
And I think he's done great wherever he's been with that. Done a great job at Aston Villa since he's been there. You have to put him in that type of category, I think, for setting up a good defensive unit.
It's a good shout.
Yeah, I like that. Set pieces? Who has set pieces where you just, even you are taken off guard? Whoa, hang on. We didn't say, not necessarily playing against us, but match of the day or whatever. How did they do that? Where's that come from?
Well, I think at the moment Arsenal,
Yeah.
They've been very good with set plays now for 2 years, and they've scored a lot of goals, and a lot of late goals that won them games have come from set plays. So I think they're the team at the moment that people are looking at going, they're the biggest threat.
All right. And then, okay, what about, this is an interesting one. We don't see that much behind the closed doors. Obviously, we had our Newcastle documentary, but I think it wasn't as, involved as like the Arsenal one and all that, where you really saw Arteta, and I felt like he was really, we see a lot of him. Team talks, managers, we don't get to hear a lot of them. We don't get to see a lot of them. Some of them are classics. You hear about some of them. My favourite one of all time is Neil Warnock. Have you seen that one? I'll fucking die for you. Like, he goes Cockney for a minute, and then he goes back to Northern, and he does that whole speech about, you don't give a shit. You'll be back in your, you go on holiday, you'll be with your girlfriends. Yeah, then he goes, I'll fucking die for you. I'll die for you, lot. I love that. And obviously, that would be my favourite of all time. But team talks, managers, from what we've heard and seen.
Yeah, we don't see a lot. There's a few sort of old ones that
classics.
Yeah, that come back.
Benson was the late Orient manager.
Yeah, I can't remember his name, but that was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Which one was that one?
You'd have seen it.
Late Orient manager.
Oh, from the documentary.
Yeah, I think it
the
was.
4-year plan.
Classic.
Yeah, so I thought that was a mockumentary when I was watching it. I thought it was fake. Brilliant.
There was one recently when the non-league guy who's the chairman and manager. See one on I can't remember. There's been a few classics.
There's been a few classics, but
classics when you got where you sort of look at it and go, wow,
kind of goosebumps, and also sometimes cringe.
Yeah,
there's a thin line.
It's difficult, and we'll probably speak on this. It's difficult to criticise players in that kind of way, I think, certainly nowadays.
Well, I was about to say, it feels like an old school way where you could just go at a player, and in a way, like, that's why I love that. And I was joking about that Neil Warnock, but there's some real passion there. He means that when he says, I would die for you lot, and you lot don't care, you know. So
it's like Ollie Holloway. He bollocked his players at half time on the field, didn't he? Sat them all down in front of the whole crowd and just went for it.
That's a big statement.
That was the same,
Phil Brown. Thank you. Yeah, not Holloway.
So I know it's a tough question, but who are you picking for your... Remember, we're making the Geordie manager kebab.
Yeah.
Who you picking for team talk?
Who'll be picking? Then we don't know the guy's name.
Can I give you a wild card? Sir Bobby.
Oh,
Well,
Or Kevin Keegan.
yeah,
I
we
mean,
used
he's...
a couple of Sir Bobby's. I'm not saying they're team talks, but they're sort of speeches.
Yeah.
really?
I've listened to a couple. Having watched his
The documentary was great, by the way.
documentary, had me in tears.
Oh, mate, same. Yeah.
So I think he's really an inspirational speaker, and also someone so highly intelligent that when he speaks, you're trapped in what he's saying. So I'll definitely put Sir Bobby in there.
He's got to be. He's got to be in the blender of amazing manager amalgam, hasn't he? Let's talk a bit about Newcastle.
Yeah.
You can have a couple of minutes to think about this as well. I'm going to ask you two things. The first one is if you could have any player from Newcastle's history in the squad now, who would it be?
Can't say Shearer.
Oh, okay.
Just think of
Can't
no,
say
because
Shearer.
it's too easy. It's too easy.
Interesting.
He's the goal.
All right.
You can't.
And the second one is if you could put together a dream Newcastle 11 from current players and former players.
We messed up. When
Who's,
did that.
we got a lot of grief
We
for
messed
our
up.
stuff.
Yeah, we got a lot of. We did it for our first app.
We forgot to put Nobby Solana in
We
there.
forgot Nobby.
Yeah.
It's really bad.
So we're going to do it now and then get hammered.
Because we leave.
No, but there's no right or wrong. It's your opinion. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's your opinion.
You get hammered for whatever you say. I described you as a footballing genius on the last pod, and I didn't
Rightly
get
so.
slack. So I was all right. I was all right.
Oh, rightly so.
That would have been a worry, wouldn't it?
Former player.
Yeah. Who would be starting 11 now?
Not Shearer though, because I just think that's too easy.
Yeah, no, I
Difficult.
I think there's so many to pick. I think I'm not going to go for a positional need, right?
No.
I look at our squad and go, we need that.
No, because then everyone's going to go, oh, it's this they need us.
Exactly. Yeah. So,
But where is that?
yeah, I mean, for me, there's obviously a few from the entertainers era. That's the team I probably know the best.
Yeah.
So I pick. We got loads of good players. I mean, Ginola was. He just looked so good, didn't he?
Yeah. Le Magnifique.
Gorgeous.
It did contribute to how good he looked when how he ran. Obviously, to his technical ability, he was a difference maker.
Yeah.
So I'll go.
On that left, and we used to cut in and
No complaints here.
whip him in, curl him in. You saying, JT?
Probably going to go Chrissy Waddle, I think.
Nice. That's a good shout. That's a good shout.
Do you know what? You see sort of
Similar type players.
similar.
Yeah.
Yeah, great balance.
Yeah.
He was really creative. Scored.
Interesting. Neither of you went. The player that we got told off for not including was Gaza as well.
It's just, I mean, Gaza was.
Gaza in this squad would be pretty phenomenal, wouldn't he?
It certainly made the best 11, I think.
Yeah, of course. 100%.
Gino was an absolute legend here. But yeah, so I think two good players. Yeah. Two good players that do great in the squad.
That'd be fun, wouldn't it?
It's a great show.
Talk about the years.
That's a great show.
We can't sign him and give him 10 minutes at the end of a game.
Certainly.
That would be amazing, wouldn't it? Coming to the pitch, it's David Ginola.
I wanted to, if we can, I wanted to do a little really quick role play. All right. I know we were talking about team talks. I love that shit, right? I just love it. I just think it's so fascinating. I wanted to just set up a scenario. This is just a joke, right? So this is not people I'm going to go, this is how they are. Right, we're 3-0 down, okay? It's a non-league team, okay? I'm the striker, 3-0 down, we had a penalty, I Panenkin'd it and missed it, right? Okay, so that's me at halftime. He's the keeper, he's trying to do a flip-flap.
Scorpion,
We were 2-0
one of
up.
those scorpion things.
And he's conceded the
gone
third
in.
goal. It's half-time.
It's gone in.
We're sitting, what are you saying to us? Come on, get into character.
Cheers, Chase.
You've got to speak. You need to hear it from the manager.
I've got my orange.
Lads, I have to say, that is an absolute disgrace, what you've just done. You've let the club down. You've let the supporters down. You're clearly not right in here. You clearly think this game is going to be easy. You two should be ashamed of yourself.
I was watching Zidane on the World Cup final. He did the Panenka.
And don't answer me back. You're coming off. You're done.
Please, Gaffer. I'll never do a Panenka again, ever. What about him? He did a score.
No, you're both coming off.
Oh, we're both coming off.
Sent off as well. But I feel that you're predominantly to blame.
Right.
Keeper's just trying to be a bit flair.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right, it's that quick. We're just off.
You're off. You're done.
We're off.
Well,
Fair enough.
You can't do that, and then you can't do a
Scorpion kick.
2-0 down.
It's clear.
Imagine if it had come off, though. I mean, it would have been phenomenal, right?
Well, yeah, it'd been good, and you might have got a new contract, but it could.
Fine lines, very fine lines.
Oh, I
Thanks,
feel schooled. I feel properly schooled.
I feel, yeah.
Can we talk about the Mad Dog stuff?
Oh, we love Mad
You're obviously aware of it. Do you love it? Because we kind of love it from the touchline. Well, not the touchline, from the sideline.
Love it.
Strange how it all come about, actually. When we was in Saudi, I think it was the first year we was in Saudi, and there was a game. We played a game there, and there was a guy that was doing the commentary. I think he was standing in for someone. The traffic was horrendous getting to the game, and whoever was doing the original commentary didn't make it on time or couldn't get there. So there was whoever it was standing, someone from the media was doing the commentary, and he kept referring to me as Mad Dog. Apparently, obviously, I didn't.
Why though? Why?
Because Jace told him to.
It was only after. It was only afterwards. We was in the game had finished. Players are sort of showering and come out the change room, and there's the guy there with the thing sort of just saying, "I've just been doing the commentary on there." Sort of, he said, "You couldn't do a video message to my wife, could you? She loves you. We sort of talk about you at home all the time. We refer to you as Mad Dog."
Wow.
Bit of role play, hey?
So I was like, "That's right, okay." So he said his wife's name. He said, "I just sent her a message." So he started it. He went, "No, actually, you just say it's like Mad Dog sending you all the best. Looking forward to seeing you soon in St James's Park." And then next thing, you put it on social media. I'm not sure what platform it was, but you put it on social media. And then I think from that moment on, it just kicked off. Yeah, so they always call me Mad Dog because I'm on the touchline.
Does he love it, Eddie? Does he love it?
I think, yeah, he does. Yeah.
Can I just, from a fan's point of view, I love it. And I'll tell you what it reminds me of, yeah? It's the perfect balance, right? It's like you have a more composed manager, and then you have the guy who's going to hype him up, back him. For me, you remind me of like one of my boys growing up who was just always going to back me up. Like, no matter what, loyal to a T. And it's like, it also reminds me of like those classic hip hop double acts. You know what I mean? You're like Flavor Flav, mate. You know what I mean? Like, you're there to back Eddie Howe up. And I love that. And that's the Mad Dog. So it's like,
and can we get a massive clock to wear on a game? That would be
a bit of Fergie
touchline thing, wouldn't it?
No, but I just want to say, from a fan's perspective, I know obviously it can be annoying when people give you nicknames and they say you're this when you're like, I'm not just this. I don't want to be, but as every fan I've ever spoken to, we love Mad Dog. Like, we think it adds so much character and personality, and it's the perfect balance to Eddie's composed style. You know what I mean? It's like, so just saying from a fan's point of view, I think you should own it, mate, because we love it. We love it. We honestly love it.
I appreciate it. The fans have been brilliant for both of us. Can't thank them enough for the support that they've given the team and shown towards us, and be forever grateful for that.
I know that we're biased, but I do think we have the best fans.
Oh yeah,
like, it's just unbelievable. And even the Fulham, remember we were talking about the Fulham game, even then you hear them at the end singing. I mean, after not a great performance, how does it feel to have that kind of support and that kind of love for your job, for the people?
Yeah, I think it's incredible. And I think you can go back to several key games through our time here. So I go back to the very early days when it was difficult. You go to the Cambridge game.
Oh, yeah.
Watford game, where we conceded really late. And at that stage, we were in dire straits. But you know what? The supporters stood to the end and clapped us off. And it was like, we've got to reward. We've got to reward this loyalty, because the support has been unbelievable.
Yeah.
Could have easily turned. So I think those early days for me set the foundation. They stayed with us. They were loyal. They helped the players. And then thankfully we were able to win some games and then sort of thank them for that. And that stayed with us, I think, to now. So we had some tough games last year. Tottenham away, supporters were like that at the end, tops off, jumping up and down.
Remember that, yeah.
And we don't take that as a sign of we don't care about the result, far from it, but we know it's a show of support. And then we take that as, right now, we've got to reward that support. We've got to work even harder to make sure that we recognise how good they are.
And do you know that, obviously, as football fans yourself, we all know that how, a result like that, and amazing, because they're not results. It's not football, is it? It's memories. It's moments in your life that you can never forget.
Hopes and dreams,
I'm going to bring it up. One of the greatest nights of my life.
Here it comes.
St.
Hasn't
James's
mentioned this
Park,
before.
PSG. You know, I was there with Adidas. I know I'm dropping names, but it's just because it's such a mental night. Sam Fender, Cass is dead, and obviously this is a dream stuff. You know what I mean? Like, and we watched that night, and then, you know, afterwards we were out there. We were in Pop World after. It's amazing. Out on the Toon after. But regardless of football and results, that for me is a core memory in my life that I will never forget. That feeling, that euphoric feeling of being these giants,
The elation.
being back in the Champions League. I was really, for me, it peaked then. Like the whole season, I said to everyone, I was like, I don't care what we do now. No, because it's not about, for me, it's never, especially being a Newcastle fan, it's never been about trophies. It's never been about these big accolades that these other teams have. It's been about
Don't
memories.
necessarily listen to that.
No, don't.
Trophies would be lovely.
I'm just saying, for me, it's about memories. It's about core memories. It's about creating these moments. And for me, that was created, but you know, and thanks to you guys and what you did for us.
Yeah.
So you know, that kind of power, you have that on your mind, right? When you're doing these games, because that's the power you have to create these core memories for us fans.
Yeah, we're aware of that responsibility, so we take it really seriously, that we want to create those memories. We want to create a team that everyone can associate with and be proud of. Every time we play, you go, we're going to go to the end. We're going to play hard. We're going to try and play in a way that the supporters want to see. And we're going to try and create those memories. And I totally agree. It is about those memories, those feelings that you can generate for the supporters, for their families, for generations of Newcastle supporters.
Generations.
That hopefully,
Yeah.
they can be talking about this team in 20, 30 years.
Well, that night we will talk about forever.
Yeah.
Forever.
It's become one of the standout. You know, it's an amazing. But what's been your favourite game as co-bosses? You know, what game did you kind of go, that was me? Yeah, that was, loved
I
it.
think there's been a few. I think I'm not going to pick that one because you've already done it. I think where would I go?
Last night, Wimbledon. Classic.
No, I don't think there's been one this year, this season.
Leicester at home. The Bruno got both goals.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think that one sticks in.
Tottenham, you know, the Tottenham game. I watched that on a plane, and the plane Wi-Fi for the first time ever was good. And I saw all those goals rattling. Love.
I think probably
that must
for
be
half an hour.
for half an hour.
Oh.
That was like, from an attacking perspective, we were dynamite that day.
What are your emotions when that's happening? What are you feeling? Are you still analysing? Because you're writing notes like there's no tomorrow. I mean, you know, but what are you know, when the team is really cooking and the goals are flying in, what are you feeling? Are you like, yeah, get in there? Or are you like, nope, I didn't like what he did there? And
Yeah, unfortunately for me, it's always analysis. So yes, I'm getting there. Obviously, I always try and celebrate the goals, even if I'm not externally, I'm internally celebrating the goals, because goals are, for any player, they're the best thing you can ever experience. For a supporter, they're the thing that matters the most. But I'm always thinking what help the players need, because even at 5-0 against Tottenham, you've seen games that have swung quickly, 2-goal. I mean, Harry Kane scores to make it 5-1, I think, or 4-1. I can't remember the exact scoreline. You're thinking, okay. So you've always got that.
Really,
but
even
then
at
Callum
5,
got the next one and it was fine.
Yeah.
but what? Even at 5-0, if Kane gets one, you're like,
Well, you're not necessarily thinking that negatively, but you're thinking, how can I help the team?
okay,
In every moment, how can I help the players?
right.
Whether you're winning, losing, drawing, it's about giving the support to the players to give their best. So I'm always in that frame of mind.
Mindful that we are close to having a stop now.
Yeah.
Can we just quickly talk about what's going to happen this season? What are the objectives? What are your hopes and dreams? Obviously, intensity's been identity for such a long time now. Then we had all the injury plagued and everything else. This season, it seems to be resetting. People are on fire, and then they're not. What's the plan? How are we going to start cooking? What's going to be our identity? What can we achieve?
Well, our identity in terms of style of play doesn't change. It evolves, but it doesn't change. So it is to entertain. It is to attack. It is to be aggressive, be physical, to run. So I want to see all of those themes in our performances. We haven't quite seen that for whatever reason this season consistently. Then it's to be together. I think ultimately you're only going to achieve something if the players I'm talking about here supporters, football club are all together as one. And then it's to see how far that can take you. I never make pledges on what we're going to do, but those things you'd love to see every single game.
We've got a little something to celebrate the fact that you are proper adopted Geordies.
Proper adopted Geordies.
And we would like to present you with, just to sort of say a final thank you.
Yes.
We've had these made. We hope you like them. Eddie, this one's for you.
Thank you very much.
JT.
Certificate. Thank you.
And if you wanted one, because you're a double act as well.
Get that
one up.
That is lovely.
But yeah, because you're adopted Geordies like us. You've been embraced by the club. So have we, and we love this club. We love the city, and we wanted to say thank you for the memories. Like I was saying about the PSG thing, I genuinely mean that. It's one of the greatest nights of my life, and I'll never forget that. So yeah, thank you so much, honestly, and wish you all the best for the rest of the season.
Please stay forever.
Yes,
we're very grateful for all of your love and support, and I'm sorry for the stare after.
No,
but thank you very much, and it's nice to meet you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming on. Right, I have to ask you, you've been telling us for every episode, PSG was your greatest ever life moment.
Yeah.
Has that changed now because we've just hung out with Eddie and JT?
It's up there with one of the most fun days we've ever had. I mean, it's bonkers. We've had two of the most famous adopted Geordies in the world, and we've interviewed them. The boss man.
They were class.
And, they were great. And Eddie, I feel like we opened him up a little bit, and he got him, got him laughing, got him relaxed, because we don't do those typical type of interviews. With us, it is a bit more laid back.
It's a bit silly.
It's a bit silly, and that's our brand. Like, that's what we want to do. But no, loved it, mate. How did you find it?
Loved it. You have been watching or listening to Adopted Geordies, brought to you by BetMGM. He's been Asim Chowdhury. I've been Andy J, and we'll be back very soon.
The adopted Geordies. The adopted Geordies. We got Andy J, we got the baldy. Together we are the adopted Geordies. Not from the tomb, but we certainly bleed black and white. In the war studios, flying every war flag in sight. Got Andy J, and we got the baldy. Together we are the adopted Geordies.